This is a clip from an earlier live stream. I know you're going to like it, so the link to the full video is down below. Check it out. I'll see you over there.
There's been an allegation made by prominent podcaster Candace Owens that she's received a death threat, a credible death threat from the French, that a threat has been made on her life, and that the French, she's been told, also may have had a role in Charlie's assassination. Have you looked into either of those? Do you believe she's received a credible death threat from the French, or that the French had something potentially to do with Charlie's death?
Any American that receives a death threat from overseas or anywhere in America is going to be fully investigated. So we're not going to turn our eye away from that investigation or any others. If there's anything to it, this FBI will respond to it.
Okay, but so far, no.
So we are just looking at everything that comes in. We're not going to reject any piece of information. If someone feels that their life is being threatened, we are, of course, looking at it.
Do you want to involve me in you looking at it? Because actually, it kind of left me on red. There has been no communication.
Why don't you give it to them then? You're literally sending it to a text message. Ma'am, come on. Y'all, if you are a Cantifa person, look at your person. Look at her. Get done, Jason.
With the FBI, you are aware right there. Megyn Kelly is asking you directly about it, so you can't pretend you didn't receive it. And you are choosing to skip over. He completely skips over the part about me having asserted, which Megyn asks him directly, was France involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination? He doesn't even address that. Skips right over it and instead says, if any American has a threat, that's what we're here for. And she's like, okay, but was there actually a threat on if anybody, let's just kind of state it more broadly, we will take it seriously. Well, you're not doing that, Kash Patel. And I find it very odd that I said that I had proof that the government of France was involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination, that they were on the ground that day, and you have not reached out to me.
Nobody.
In this very interview that you are asserting that you are certain that Tyler Robinson is the only person involved, how can you be certain if you are not reaching out to people that claim to have verifiable evidence which could dispute that narrative? Does it seem to you like he's telling the truth there?
Yeah.
Does it seem to you like he's being open, he's being transparent, or does it seem like he's intentionally being cagey because he knows that I am telling the truth, despite the many millions of dollars that is being spent on this Operation Mockingbird 2.0 campaign? Kash Patel knows that I am telling the truth. That's why they are turning to influencers to try to tell you not to look that way. Candace is crazy. Oh my gosh, like Candace must have made this up. But the people that are in power are not telling you that I made this up, even when they are given the opportunity to do so.
Why don't you show the evidence, ma'am? Then nobody can say it. If you just got the evidence and put it out here and say, here's the proof, and everybody would have to say, oh, well, she has real proof.
To stay silent, okay?
Whatever, Candace.
And I am waiting for all of this to be uncovered because this is bigger than we could have ever imagined. And it is very clear to me that our satellite of nations involved in this is not so implausible. In fact, maybe it's very plausible that all of these states are somehow involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination. So here's what happened after we went off air. I received a tip, actually from overseas.
Another tip.
Which has positively blown my mind.
Of course it did.
It's blown my mind in a lot of ways, particularly because I had this intuition in terms of the things that I was researching and that were coming up, and we're looking into Utah and all of these things, that there was this chance that trafficking, like global trafficking, is could be involved here. Like that this could be maybe somehow Charlie was being asked to be brought in. He built an organization that has a presence, I think in all 50 states, actually in all 50 states.
This is evil.
And that presents a certain opportunity, like for potentially trafficking. Now, the tip that we received was that we were very much on the right track and that there was another Pierre that we should be looking into, right? And what I'm going to say is, despite this tip and indicating that Turning Point, people that work with Turning Point or one of their, action organizations, who knows which organization, they have a few, took a meeting with this particular Pierre. We cannot verify that yet. We would like to verify that information. And if you know more, please email us, moretips@CandaceOwens.com. But I'm going to tell you that even if we can't verify
Okay, I'm going to stop right now. You do know where she's going with the trafficking, right? You all already know where she's going with the trafficking. This is so gross. You already know what she's about to say. She's not going to say it, but somebody's going to send her a tip, and then she's going to say it. You already know. I see it already. Yep. Erica Kirk. That's it.
That tip, just knowing who this person is. This person who
This is
lives in
gross.
Scottsdale, Arizona, and is a billionaire, and that is where Turning Point USA is based. Knowing this person's background is incredibly compelling, okay? This individual that they mentioned that we should take a look into or learn more about, his name is Pierre Falcone. Now, I had never heard of this individual, and I'm going to say allegedly again regarding the Turning Point USA connection, but his past is not allegedly.
Is he from Gotham?
He was involved in a scandal that almost brought down the French government, and it involved, here we go, Africa, Angola in particular,
I can't
Israel, France, and the United States. Arms trafficking, okay? Weapons that were being trafficked into Africa. And this scandal came to be known as Angola Gate. And I'm going to do my best here to summarize it for you so that you get the gist of this. In short, the scandal happened during the civil war in Angola. So you have an African country, there is a civil war. You should just know instinctively that none of these civil wars are organic. No civil war ever was organic. Not even our civil war was organic. It's a bunch of Freemason lodges, deep state government involvement, and you can bet your money that the deep state is always involved when stuff is going on in Africa. Civilized countries are always involved in sponsoring civilizations being brought down. Anyways, it gets discovered during the course of French elections, and this is dating back to 1999, that the French government is actually involved in trafficking weapons, military-grade weapons, to Angola to facilitate this war. And they did this through an illicit network of countries. The public learns this, and it turns out that France is involved, Russia is involved, Slovakia is involved. They're using this company, which is known as Branco International, to sell these arms to the Angolan president. Now, Branco International is run by this guy. His name is Arkady Gaidamak. Of course, he is Israeli, initially born in Russia, and then right when Israel becomes a nation, he moves there. He's also, of course, the president of the Congress of Jewish Religious Communities, so you can't question anything he does. It's anti-Semitic. And his partner is Pierre Falcone. Pierre Falcone is born in Algeria. He moves to France after the Algerian Civil War. So I'm just going to bring up the players here very quickly. This is just from a website that's called Corruption Tracker. You've got Pierre Falcone. He's the businessman, the main broker of the arms deals. He gets convicted of arms trafficking, breach of trust, a misuse of corporate assets, bribery. He gets sentenced to 6 years in prison. But then he gets cleared on an appeal, okay? So technically, he was found not guilty of this crime and then was sentenced to a reduced 2.5 years in prison. You have Arkady Gaidamak, who I just told you about. He's the other businessman, and he gets convicted, even though he never showed up in France, of arms trafficking, tax fraud, bribery, money laundering, you name it. You have the French interior minister that was implicated. You also have Francois Mitterrand, the French president's son, that was implicated in this. When I say high-reaching, as in like the president of France at that time was implicated via his son, who was involved in this. Basically, everyone was getting paid off of this. It ends up being 41 politicians involved, multiple states, and of course, multiple nations that are involved, including Angola. But you should know the scandal also touched the United States. Human rights groups demanded that Congress also probe the Bush administration's involvement because they claim they did a deal and got involved for oil. Of course, why do we have wars? Because they can go in and they can steal a country's resources. I hope you are awake to that by now. Everything that's being sold to you, fighting for their power, fighting for their rights, Muslims versus Christians. Wealthy bankers.
Whenever you hear
want
Muslim,
resources.
that's how she.
I'm reading.
Whenever she brings up Muslims, that's how she does it. I know you like that episode. This is actually a clip from a larger live stream. The link is down in the description, so you can go check it out. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you down there. Grace and peace.